I don't want to give too much away, but that's going to be our cover for the podcast, right?
Well, you're not giving anything away because by the time you listen to it, I hope that's covered.
Surprise.
So as a creative, I knew that I always wanted to run a business, but I didn't know the businessy things. I'm Kim Russo, owner of On Brand Designs, creator of the Profitable Brand Designer course. And this is my cute man over here.
I thought we were going to say handsome man, but I'm handsome man Jeremy, co-hosting the show with Kim, hoping to share some knowledge and laughs as we share our journey together as an entrepreneurial couple.
Thanks for being here, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode where we want to bring you current event stuff that's happening in our lives right now. And today's topic is going to cover personal branding and having a photo shoot and how valuable that is, not only in a personal brand, but any type of brand. And the reason why it's so relevant is yesterday I had my third photo shoot of my business, which seems to be kind of a cadence of every 2 years. So we're going into the 6 years, well, 5.5 years, but going into that, this mini shoot. But the difference of this evolution in the photos is pretty fun to create and see, even looking back at my old brand shoots of how I've evolved as a business and a person. And so, yeah, just want to kind of talk about the power of having good photos and showing up in a way that is representing you and where you're at now in your brand and your business, but also how to help your clients as creatives. So on this photo shoot, I had 3 other friends / clients that I'm working on currently their branding, and it was such a fun way to be there and stylize and just have fun with it. So
because yesterday was more of a lifestyle shoot, it was fun and lively. It wasn't like
well, it was kind of supposed to be headshots, but because of how creative I am and how fun it was to have clients that are friends too, we were definitely stretching the photo shoots to be creative and sort of think outside the box with props and
you were using props, and it wasn't just sitting there stoic looking for headshots. It was more vibrant and lively. Like I said, using props. You used a disco ball and a crown, and just letting your personality shine, which is good. Because I think once you start to evolve and grow in your business, you let your personality shine more. But that should be for anybody.
Yeah, it's stick with who you are. And I think the evolution from the first one was very like, sit at my desk in my office. It was very light and airy, which is still on brand with my coloring. But there was no super concept. It was just kind of my first time at it. We did some downtown in Charleston. Also used as an opportunity. This is long before we even thought we would do a podcast together, or this is 4 years ago. Like, who knew what would be today? And we took advantage of taking some photos together in downtown Charleston to kind of represent that lifestyle, which we're using for some of the stuff for this podcast.
Yeah, and then that one you were also pretty much like celebrating your business because you had the champagne bottle you were popping, and that was not the launch of your business, but again, it was your first your 1 year, but your first real photo shoot, which just was kind of celebrating that you're on the path of where you want your business to be. So you were celebrating that. So
yeah, it was like the first step into sort of stepping out of this freelancer mindset and this just graphic designer into having this business and celebrating the business. And
and I think that's good too, because when you get those photos and you get more confidence built up in your business, you start to see more of your personality, which is what I was saying yesterday. Your business is growing so much, and you're just able to let your personality shine, and you can choose whatever kind of props or whatever your personality is going to allow you to do. Because that second photo shoot, that was just your headshots, right? With your
No, so I do have headshots that was like a separate thing. And that's because then my second photo shoot, which was 2 years, almost exactly 2 years after the first one. And at this point now, grown so much. So now I had a team.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
because I included my team in the photos too. I also was working on launching the Profitable Brand Designer course. So that was a whole nother marketing strategy. The first one was really just focusing on me as building my personal brand as a completely solopreneur, like totally by myself, and just wanting to look more professional. I think that was more of the goal there without really taking that hard look into where I wanted my business to go and what I wanted in the future. So that was still just like, okay, I understand I need content for social media and I need to start positioning myself a little bit more professionally, but I didn't quite have that like understanding of exactly what the next steps is. I think that was still the phase where we were like, what do I do next? Like I want a team, I want to grow. Like, how do I get past this? And so the second one, I was like, well, now that I have this team, I've got to incorporate them somehow and position myself more in this agency model. And also was going in there with the want to market this new course and right. Have to kind of conceptually think of how we can translate these photos into marketing that makes sense for my business. And these two aspects of my business, these two target audience design clients, which, you know, I was also shifting who I was trying to attract and working on that client avatar. And then this whole other audience of you creatives that like I'm so passionate about working with and growing with that I had to like put on two strategy hats to make it work for one. And at the time, which it's still true because it's not even quite 2 years, I really wanted to elevate who I was working with. And so this is a little bit more of like a true lifestyle compared to the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because you're defining your team and you're showing everyone out there that now, right, you do have a team. And yes, I remember that. So you've actually done that 3, 4.
And then the
you've
headshots.
Done more. The headshots. And then, you know, we kind of did a photo shoot together downtown, which was just really, it was just more for us. It was more just, you know, getting some kind of fun, I guess you call them lifestyle shots because they were again downtown, but they turned out to be good.
Pre-engagement, which we have a few of those.
I don't want to give too much away, but that's going to be our cover for the podcast, right?
Well, you're not giving anything away because by the time you listen to it, I hope that's
cover. Surprise. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So that you see on the cover is that photo shoot that we just did together downtown, just having fun, kind of an impromptu photo shoot. So, what would you say someone should look for?
Well, that photo shoot was actually somebody posted in one of the Facebook groups for Charleston women or girls that I'm in, which is, you know, a huge part of growing the business. And it was somebody as a photographer from out of town who wanted to build her portfolio in Charleston while she was here. And so it was free. So why not take advantage of that? If you ever see anybody with any sort of promo, and that's what we did yesterday. You know, I always like to help and support local women, but she offers this promo mini session in the hopes that you book a bigger session, which I think everybody that was with me yesterday is going to book more time with her. I know we will eventually for more photos for just more stuff of us. But take advantage of those instances where somebody is trying to build their portfolio, because that's really what I teach in the course is as a designer and a creative, how to leverage those situations where you're offering for free and you'll never know who you come in contact that can help grow your business and also give you that portfolio items that's going to help business grow. So, but yeah, that one was a free one, and I was like, hey, at the time I didn't really need. She was looking for couples, and so.
And what better couple?
Yeah, and you know that we're not engaged yet, but we have had practice taking photos together with family photos a couple times. And again, not even knowing then that we were going to be launching this podcast together. I think we talked about it, but you never know. We've always been very supportive of each other. And I think we both kind of knew at some point we would be doing something together. So, even if it was just for like a fun birthday or Valentine's Day post to have good pictures, but it comes in handy. So definitely taking advantage of professional shots.
Well, something I'll add to what you saying about if you see someone out there that's offering to build their portfolio as a photographer, if you're serious about in the future having professional photos that you want to, you pay for, that that will help you actually become more comfortable in front of a camera and knowing how, where you're not investing a ton of money, and it allows you to know, okay, what shots look best for me, what, again, building your personality out, what does that look like for me, and it helps you test the waters with maybe not having to spend any money or little to no money compared to what professional photographers will actually charge you. So it helps you get a little bit more comfortable in that aspect and know, hey, do I want to go out and invest in, which I think everyone should invest in that. So, but yeah, so that just helps, ease the nerves or find your personality and what works for you and
Yeah,
how you
that's
want to
a
shine.
really good point because even for me, how I showed up that first photo shoot to how I show up now, ready to go, knowing the poses that look good, that work, it helps, you know, helps you get, I wouldn't say better content, but it helps you to really define who you are, in the camera. And I think having a good balance of photo shoot quality and then just real life is really good. But I've had so many people who make comments. Um,
Yeah, because your whole life can't be followed around like the paparazzi with people just snapping photos of you. Because, like, let's not discredit the fact that we walk around with, high powered, photo cameras in our pockets with the, iPhones or the advanced Droid or whichever one. Probably not a flip phone. I wouldn't recommend taking pictures on that. But, like, yeah, it gives that, I guess you call it that cornerstone of like anything that is first visible to your clients or who's going to want to work with you, and then you can throw in your own mix of pictures and videos and everything that you're filming on your own. And again, back to that same point, if you just wanted to get more comfortable with yourself filming yourself or taking pictures of yourself, I mean, you can set your phone up and just test the waters. But I think our main point is just people want to see who they're working with. They want to know their personality. They want to see your smile, and you can do a lot through videos and photos and just getting yourself out there. I know there's a lot of marketing out there that's faceless that can work too, but I think people really want to connect with who
yeah,
they're
they want to
working
engage
with.
with people
Yeah,
and know their personality.
yeah,
And having like a goal in mind and a kind of work backwards. This was a good point from the photographer I worked with yesterday. Since this was kind of like an impromptu thing, that I was like, oh, she's got this great deal. Let me get some new content. What do I need it for? So I wanted it to use for social media and use it for marketing. And so her tip was, okay, work backwards. So you want it for this. So now figure out who you want to target with this and what you're trying to convey. Like, what is your messaging and how you want to be perceived? And then go backwards from there. And it's the same thing with creating, a branding project, a brand strategy project is doing your research and seeing what resonates with you and what is your audience also being attracted to. So that was my biggest thing to kind of figure out what to do. And while some of the attire I do wear, but maybe I wouldn't wear it every day, it's just showing a little bit more of that like inner personality that you just want to like jump out and have fun. And I encourage that for my clients too. So knowing how to do it on myself helps to, sort of project manage and help visualize for my clients so that when I'm going in and working on their branding and their websites, that there is a little bit of personality, a little bit of fun, and also concept so that I'm bringing that website or branding to life. So,
and we can't leave out the she shed. She got her own little photo shoot that was put up in the Charleston Women's Magazine.
yeah,
So
those were done with my non-flip phone.
Yeah. And so here you go. You've got a perfect, camera that, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars, especially when you're starting out, to get quality photos, I guess is our point. But just again,
So
Kim
important and so
Kim,
impactful.
yeah, and just your work lifestyle, is so unique that it's drawn attention. Because we talked about it in the last episode or a couple episodes ago, is just your work environment. So if you've got a unique work environment that makes you feel comfortable, at the end of the day, it's all everybody has got their own personality. So don't try and force it. Just be who you are, and that's going to resonate with someone. This world is so diverse and wants to work with so many diverse people, that your personality will resonate with someone. It doesn't matter if you're in jeans and a t-shirt or overalls or dressed up fancy. I mean, it's just
No,
everybody
it's be
connects with
you.
someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally being you, and that's what Kim's whole point is. Like when she works with someone on a brand, it's like, what is your personality? Like you go through the process of saying, your vision board of like, let me see who you are as a person, and build the concepts around that. Because again, people are going to resonate with that person. And again, why it's important to have your face out there, so people can, there's a lot of psychology in just getting to know that person through even a picture or a bright smile, or just seeing that. Again, we're here on the coast, so we use a lot of coastal, charm and footage and videography and what we do. But if you're somewhere living in the mountains or something, use that. Those beautiful scenes that you can use there too. So it's just all about letting your personality shine for who you are.
Yeah.
So, a question I wanted to ask you is, what do you find in a photographer when you're looking? Like, what are some of the, like, do you want them to, parallel and match with your aesthetic, or what is just something you would tell the people that are listening?
Yeah. Well, I think for sure you have to like their style and their vision has to be aligned with yours. So I also use as a brand designer photographers as power partners and refer or work together. I think it's just feeling comfortable with the person and really understanding their style first. Like do your homework and check out their portfolio because that was another thing that dictated how each of my photo shoots went. So the first two big photo shoots were with a more editorial style photographer. She wasn't really doing branding yet, and I don't think she really does anymore. But I was really trying to get the first year like very light and airy, and at that point in her career, that's what she was doing. And then by the second time, she was doing a little bit more, I guess, moody editorial, like not super crisp, looked more film like. And I had already built up a comfortability with her. And at the time, I was referred to her by a friend. But I loved her work. I was like obsessed with her work. And I was like, I have to work with her. And the second time, since I was so comfortable with her at that point and she understood my vision, it was just so easy. We like hung out for the day with my team, like going all around Charleston, and I was really trying to get this like luxury vibe, but me luxury vibe.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point too. Is like they have to understand your vision as a person, and you're interviewing these people. You're hiring them as to work for you to build your brand. So if you interview 10 people and none of them, just keep interviewing again, and that's what matters, because you're going to hire these people. So if they don't match what you're trying to display to your audience, then don't work with them. Find the person that you click with, either through their portfolio and personality. But I think a lot of photographers out there have pretty good personalities because they do work with so many diverse people.
Yeah, and I think it's also it's a two-way street, so it's both personalities,
right?
Kind of clicking. So, and then the next time I did photos, it was because although I loved all of those pictures and I had so much amazing content that I still use this day, both of them. Once I started to get really into podcasting for marketing and public speaking, and doing all these events where I needed to produce every time you submit something or they send you an email as wanting you as a guest or in a summit, a workshop, anything, they always ask for a headshot. And I was sending over what I thought from these were, to me, headshots, because I wasn't really, as a creative, into the like rigid, like straightforward, like, which I do have now, arms up. That I was more artsy with it, but it wasn't working for what the people wanted for their podcasts, covers and things like that. And so really did need like some really strong headshots that are like ready to go in my podcast or speaking press kit that I can just send out. And I think that's kind of where I got into wanting to do the one yesterday, is because I only had a couple of those. And while it's nice to have consistency with the same one or two so that you're very recognizable, and that is the goal, to be like, oh, I know that person. Like, I'm going to go show up or listen to this or sign up for this because I know who that is. But having variety is also nice, especially since I've been doing so much speaking lately. Just wanting like a little bit of a refresh, and I do feel like I wanted this time my personality to show a little bit more. So I just had fun with it. So another thing that really impacted this new photo shoot is working with a partner and friend. I'm working on her branding now. We're going to be aligning on some projects together, which I'm so excited about. But she really brings out like your soul's embodiment. So she did this reading on me, which she's done with other clients that we've collaborated with, that really defines who you are. And it helps define what your brand is supposed to be, or not supposed to be, but is destined to be, maybe is the right word, your legacy that you're building. And so you have to be a little woo to go through this experience, but it was super impactful when she did this for a client of mine and a friend of mine who was actually at this photo shoot, because it helped me. It's like almost a brand strategy process, but like on a really personalized, elevated way. So when I went through this really cool experience, this vision that she had was kind of this like sparkly, like diva, but in a classy, modern, minimalistic way, which is actually so true. So I am, I guess, sort of plain within like my clothes. Like I like black, I like simple. I like teal, white, obviously. I like clean, I like teal. But when you look at like the aesthetics of my she shed, which was my apartment designs, everything is very white and clean and minimalistic. But then all of my picture frames are sparkly. I add glitter to things here and there. So it's done in a very simple, minimalistic way. And my whole life I've been like sparkly. Like I've loved sparkle things, but not gaudy. Like gaudy is not where it's at. But like my 40th birthday, that's prime example.
Yeah.
Holographic,
iridescent. I couldn't find the word, but yeah, holographic. Everybody was dressed up holographic stuff. We'll have to break out some old photos from that.
Yeah,
they weren't.
I love a good theme.
Actually,
I did.
Yeah, you did
hire. I hired Jake.
Yeah, they were professional.
Yeah.
That was the 6th photo shoot.
Yeah. I hired Jake from Cause Films, who did my video in my she shed.
Shout out to Jake.
Shout out to Jake. It's on the Profitable Brand Designer page. So if you go to On Brand Designs / the Profitable Brand Designer, there's hyphens in between there. But you guys will find it. And there's a video on there. It's also on Instagram. But yeah, he came in here and did my video in the she shed. But I was like, okay, we got a house on Isle of Palm. It was my 40th birthday. I don't do a lot of celebrations. And I had this, I wanted a theme. And I was like, how can I make a really out of the box different theme? And when I was searching, when I saw iridescent holographic, and I love iridescent and holographic, so everybody had to dress up like that. And I did hire a photographer for that, so that we didn't have to worry about people stopping and taking out pictures or forgetting to take stuff. I just wanted to capture the night with everybody's fun iridescent holographic clothes.
The packed house, that's for sure.
But house. So glad I had him there as a photographer to capture the stuff. So
Yeah.
Otherwise, there'd be none, or just the late night ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had this like aha, like, oh my god, you, and she did all this with like a reading with not even me being on, like, she did this all in the morning before we met. And so what made me reflect is, okay, maybe I'm not really showing that in my branding. And I had a little bit. I'd already done my sales pages for some of my free workshops and webinars and master classes, where the background is got like a holographic image or a little bit of a sparkle, but it was like tiptoeing into it. And I was like, wow, this is kind of like, I'm not letting it go. Like I'm teetering on it, but I don't know what was holding me back. But I got so excited from this, and so one of my props for this photo shoot yesterday was a crown, because back when I first was in this whole process of hiring a team, working with coaches, one of my mentors had a podcast that said, she said in the podcast, are you, something on the lines like, are you tired of being the worker bee and wanted to transition to the queen bee? And I know I've told this story a lot, but this whole concept of queen bee, and actually that second photo shoot, there is a picture of me in a restaurant, which is unfortunately no longer open in Charleston, but it had a queen bee on the wall. And so that had to be a spot on the photo shoot tour. So I brought the crown out for a little bit to have some fun. I bought a disco ball to bring in that like glitziness. And then I had a jacket that had some that I found in my closet right before I was leaving for the photo shoot. Had bought stuff that I didn't end up even using because I was like, oh wait, this is me. This is something that I already own, and forgot I had.
Yeah. But I think that so I think that a lot of times people might, you say tiptoe into, and that goes back to what I think a lot of people will, steer clear of, because it's, how will people perceive me? Will this affect my business in a good way or a bad way? And you're just trying to figure out, like, how will people, take this if I go in a different direction, not totally different, but just try something like outside the box. Thinking is like, well, how will people, will this hurt my business, hurt my brand? But you never know until you take that leap. It really, building your own brand is about marketing yourself. So people may just love that side of you, and that's something else too. It goes back to not holding back who you are, because people see more realistically who you are if you just let your personality shine. You should not hold back who you are as a person in building your brand, because that's going to come off as not authentic to
You
who
want to
you.
attract the people you want to work with,
Yeah.
and then if they don't like me wearing a crown, then they're not my people.
Right. So just, again, the universe will bring in the amount of people that are going to be attracted to you because of that. And then if you don't let that side of your personality shine, you're missing out on those people. But if that is you, if that is your person, if that is your, personality, that you're wanting to attract that person, because you're going to feel good about working with that person. You don't want to hold back and feel like, oh, I'm not showing my true self, and then you're really just hurting yourself and your client or whoever you choose to work to, because you really don't want to work with that person. Mm-hmm. If you have that bubbly personality, let it shine. If you have that stoic, just, hey, I'm very straight, and that's fine.
Well, too. It was funny because yesterday in the photo shoot, it was so much fun because, like I said, I always become either friends with my clients or their friends first, but we had this group of women that we were all like business besties, and like when it was my turn, I was like all serious because I wanted to like give this, like, I am serious business right now, like I've got the bright color, the bulb of this, but I'm like, I'm serious about this. And they're like, laugh, have fun, like you're always laughing. And I'm like, okay. But it was like trying to, like, you have to push it out sometimes.
But if that's not your personality, that shows in your marketing, that shows in your branding, that's not the type of person that you are. And I'm guilty of that sometimes too, that, you got to just be who you are, because even though if you are a person that's very serious business, and there's a lot of businesses out there, you see law firms and financial firms, they want to, portray the fact that they're all serious business all the time, then that's their brand that they want to portray for the serious matters. But you're in a more creative space. People want to
Yeah.
see that liveliness and that bubbly, side of you, that people are attracted to work with you.
Well,
In that
honestly, the
fashion.
best ones, we were all helping each other pick out the top photos that we wanted, and the top ones where we're all like raging laughing. Like,
Yeah.
they're just so fun, and the energy that exudes from these photos is what we want to let our future clients and prospects know that this is who we are.
But again, like that just goes back to industry. You're in a very creative and think outside the box, artistic, and you want to let that show. So then you've got the industries that I'm more familiar with from having a financial background of, you got your accountants, your financial advisors, your attorneys, your, insurance people that just want more of again, a very serious, hey, this is me, I'm stoic, I'm rigid, kind of like, and me personally being in that's just not my personality per se, but people are just going to connect with who they connect with. The universe is out there to, attract their perfect ideal, client avatar. But again, that's just putting your personality out there, because people will be attracted to, you as a person.
You want to talk about how you? So I often ask Jeremy, what should I wear? And I do like to match a lot too. We're matching right now. But yesterday morning, I had been like, I think maybe overthinking this photo shoot a little bit, and it wasn't one of these photo shoots that we had time to like change much. So I had to be strategic with what I wore, that I could interchange or swap out a jacket. And I got these two jackets, and I ended up only wearing one, but it's because yeah, because of you. Well, because of you. Because when I put it on, you were like, it's not you.
Yeah, but again, even my opinion, that it's still you. Like, it's still your, personality. If you want to let that shine, then, you wear.
But you were right. I was forcing something.
Yeah.
I was forcing a concept, and I often bug you about what should I wear all the time.
Well, normally that's just when we're going out and doing stuff, and I'm just like, let's put something on and let's go. But no, I think that's But again, that goes back to, even if I said something like, hey, if I didn't agree with it, you're still your own individual person. Like, you still make that decision. Like,
I like your opinion.
I know, but I know it helps. But nobody should, like, I don't care if that's a partner or a friend or a family member. Like, again, like, you know me. Like, if somebody tells me, like, you shouldn't wear, I'm probably gonna wear it just because somebody said you shouldn't wear it. But that's, again, just like my personality shining, and everybody has their own personality. Some people will say, okay, well, they said don't wear it, and some people are like, screw that, I'm just gonna wear it because I want to, and I think that's what makes everybody an individual. That's why sometimes I'm like, well, should I tell you not to wear that, because I know you might not wear it, but again,
I want that. I want the honest truth, because you're like, I can look in a mirror and see, but I can't see me walking around moving how my attitude is, and what energy is coming off, what's the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, was I forcing something too much?
Yeah, but you can feel that inside of yourself too. Like, if it feels good on you, like, just go for it.
But yeah, so I didn't end up wearing that one. I wore the other one, and then put together last minute like a couple other outfits that morning when we were in bed, and I was like, what do I do?
But yeah, I think that was the point of today, is just to talk to everyone about how, like, getting, again, whether it be professional photography, just getting comfortable with it, because putting your face out there is your brand. Like, you are the brand, and that's Kim's whole purpose, is helping people find their brand of who they are. So, don't hold back from whoever you are, but it is good to get that, those professional photos out there if you're serious about building your business and want people to like take your business seriously.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think just the last note is like, making sure that you're aligned with your brand too, and that you're aligned with your client's brand vision and goals. So actually, and one of my clients yesterday, I wore a color that's not part of my color palette. It's actually hers, so she borrowed one of my jackets. And I'm like, it's okay to go a little bit outside of the box. And as long as it works well with the story that you're trying to tell, and you also want it to be something that looks good on you that you feel good in too. So teal, everybody should know at this point, teal is my favorite color. I love it in my branding. It will never leave my branding. It's in the accessories. It's in stuff in, my office. I love teal. It's a color that is an easy gift for you to give me something in teal.
You put on teal, that looks great.
But that's the thing. Teal does not look good on me.
I think that's good.
I don't like teal on me. I have one teal dress and a couple jackets, but I don't feel like that is my color.
But it looks good in your branding.
Yes, but I didn't want to I wore one thing in teal yesterday because I do think it really is important to have a color that represents your brand so that it does tie in. But don't be scared to like push it a little and have fun with it as long as it tells a story and it matches in with your aesthetic that you're going for. Is the point of that. So yes, it's the color I wore yesterday was not part of my branding, but I will make it part of my branding. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today, and hope that you got a lot out of this and that you go and find a photographer that you mesh with and that you can work with your clients too as well. So having that, some photographers in your back pocket that make sense for the brand that you're working with also helps elevate your brand by having the right pictures to use for websites and marketing. Because let me tell you, not having good photos for websites is a website killer. I can make things look as beautiful as possible, but without good pictures, it's not as good.
And she can tell.
Yeah. So pictures are so important for you, for your brands, for your clients' brands. And that is the final note that I want to leave you with is make sure to have great photos. And another tip is to have your photographer take stylized close-up shots of other things that maybe is not your face, maybe just the accessory or the prop that you bring, because you can use that in other places of your marketing and branding, and it'll align and look part of your brand as well. So, thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening. We hope that you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as we enjoyed creating it. Make sure that you follow On Brand Designs on all social media pages and on Instagram, The Profitable Brand Designer, to get the latest episodes, releases, and tips and tricks for brand designers. And also,
you can also follow us as a couple on Instagram at Profitable Brand Couple. That's profitable.brand.couple. So we hope you follow us there and like and comment.
And subscribe and follow us on YouTube to see us in action.
There you go.
Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.